Hey everybody, Nick here, and today I get a sneak preview for you of something very exciting I've recently picked up for the channel. So remember a week or two ago, I posted a video titled Do Not Get Into Watches, in which I advocated that you should not get into watches. Because unfortunately, watches are really useful. They're really interesting. They provide a sense of real mastery on your wrist at any given moment. There is all kinds of things to learn about the various different movements, about the different approaches to timekeeping, etc. And there's something that you will use every day of your damn life if you're wearing one. But the problem is, unfortunately, they are also a huge financial burden from which you will never escape, and that will lead you to have an incredible watch collection in a very small cardboard box on the street someplace. But so don't get into watches. I want to again, put that forth. But unfortunately, I got into watches, and so I have a little bit of a problem. As many of you may know, I for the last year or so, maybe a little less than a year, this has been my primary watch. This is the Omega Seamaster Planet Ocean. This is a very, very nice piece. It is a mechanical watch, as you can see here by the little spinning weight there. So it uses a little tiny spinning wheel coupled with some gears and whatnot to keep the time, and it does so admirably well. This has incredible accuracy for a mechanical watch, getting in the vicinity of 0.1 seconds a day, plus or minus depending on the position, how often I was wearing it, But anyways, it is very, very, very accurate. It's a very, very nice mechanical watch. It's durable, it's anti-magnetic. It has a lot of the advantages in a mechanical watch that you can get in a quartz watch. And in fact, that's kind of that's where I started in the watch world, and in some ways where my heart has always lived, in quartz. Because I have a whole video about why quartz is generally a better choice for your everyday watch, for 99% of people, which I think is a nice companion to the statement that you should not get into watches, because once you go mechanical, it's all over. You just sign over your house, you're done. But anyways, this is a great watch. I've loved this watch, and I've been wearing it pretty much regularly. If it tells you anything, this stops running after about 48 hours of not wearing it, and it hasn't stopped running for 220 days. So it's a pretty solid runtime on here. Unfortunately, though, this watch has got some serious disadvantages, namely that it is very, very thick, both in terms of the bracelet, if you're just typing on a computer. It's very thick in this domain as well. I mean, it's a thick watch, and it's very, very, very heavy. If I set this guy down as adjusted to my wrist, it is 6.93 ounces. That's 7 ounces damn near on your wrist, just hanging out, having a good old time. And so as a result, my left arm has grown stronger than I could ever imagine, which is great. I can half climb a mountain now. But unfortunately, that's not something I've grown to love over time. And so my eyes have wandered because I have a problem. I want to make it very clear about that. But they've wandered in a very specific way. They've wandered back to quartz because, as I said, quartz is where my heart began, and in many ways, as a giant nerd, quartz is where it continues. And I've had my eye on one particular piece because every other watch in my collection is quartz. I get this little quartz guy for travel, which is a very vanilla sort of watch, but it's a nice little quartz piece. Got this Omega Quartz Aquaterra for my more formal sorts of situations. And I've been thinking to myself, well, maybe I should find a daily driver sort of thing that would be in quartz and maybe a little bit less expensive than this guy, which is its other major disadvantage. Retail price, $6,600. Holy crap, Omega. But anyway, so I decided I would go for something a little bit more accurate, a little bit more quartzy, a little lower maintenance, a little bit more lightweight, and ideally a little bit less expensive. And, well, unfortunately, I have a problem. And unfortunately, even more so, my jeweler knows that I have a problem. This is Lewis Jewelers out of Ann Arbor, next city over, and they've contacted me, and they have tempted me, given I reached out first, so I can't blame them. I have no one to blame but myself. And ultimately, this little guy has crept into my life here. This is further evidence that I have a problem, but it is a very, very nice piece. And it's a watch that I'm very excited to reveal, because I've been thinking about it for a long time. Like, frankly, even before I decided I might try mechanical. Well, I finally decided, you know what, it's time. And so it's a joy for me to finally reveal to you all a watch I've been thinking about for a long time and finally picked up. All right, ready, set, here we go. Okay, right here we have the Vostok Amphibia. This is a small, oh wait, no, I'm sorry, that's not what you were interested in here. Okay, all right, here we go. Let's get ready to reveal this little guy, and this guy right here is the, oh, hold on, I should show off this Citizen's Blue Angel Skyhawk with all kinds of different dials and displays, things like, well, no, you wanted to see this guy. Okay, sorry, I digress. Inside this little case is my latest acquisition, and ideally, a new everyday carry watch for me, and that's this little guy right here. This is the Breitling Aerospace. So, this is a really neat watch in a bunch of different ways because it has a bunch of different things going for it. To start with, it is a quartz watch, and to me at least that is a beautiful thing, but this is even more so than most quartz watches, crazy accurate. Your average quartz watch gets something to the effect of, 0.1 seconds a day. So that means like every 10 days it might be off by a second or something like that. And it's enough that, if I leave this guy in the drawer for a little while, this Omega, in the drawer for a little while, you know what, it might be off by a few seconds next time I pick it up next month to wear it. This guy, on the other hand, is accurate to 10 to 15 seconds every year. That's frankly an absurd accuracy. It's an accuracy that nobody needs, but because I am a gigantic nerd who on a regular basis works with milliseconds, although not given time with my wristwatch, there is a certain appeal there, and so this is a super quartz sort of movement. It's also a very functional watch, in a couple of different ways. In addition to being a watch that tells me the time, it also has the day and the date. It's currently the 1st. Down here, I can also have it show me seconds, but by the way, note that there's no second hand on here. So the one thing that angers mechanical watch lovers more than anything else is this second hand ticking along and saying, I've dodged that. They'll know, but it's not right there, cry it out in your face. But anyways, you can also use it with other different functions here. So for instance, right now, this is a timer. So I can pull out the timer, I can set a time, and then it'll sound an alarm when I'm ready. I can also use it with a second time zone. Right now, this is the time in Adelaide, Australia. A buddy of mine, Pete from Cedric Ada, lives down there. I text him regularly, so I tried that out, which is really neat. And by the way, their time zone is off by 30 minutes, not just a number of hours, which is weird as hell, but this can deal with it, which is cool. I can use it as a chronograph, where I can actually time something just right there from my wrist, and I can stop it, and I can restart it. Hey, excellent. And I can reset it by just holding down the crown here. I can use an alarm. This morning I set an alarm for 9:45 to make sure I got onto a conference call. I can turn the display off altogether, or I can display the current time in 24-hour, or I can show the seconds, which is fun, I guess, although... and then finally, I can just go back to day and date. So it's got a bunch of different functions in there. Oh, it's also a minute repeater. So if you need to hear the time, but you have no light and the backlight won't work, the thing is that would be like $1 bazillion in actual mechanical, so they threw it in there, hey, why not? But anyways, so those are the neat things. It's also got some other neat elements to it that are maybe a little bit not as readily appreciable. For instance, the lume on this is pretty monstrous, which is great. I am a big snob for lume, and this watch has great lume. You can see here, in addition to the diver's bezel, which is funny because it's a pilot's watch, but it has lume for most of the indices. The big shiny indices are not lumed, although you can use them to pick up light, which is nice. So you can read the time with lume or without lume just by finding light, which is nice. It has lume on the hour and minute hand. It is great lume. It is visible all freaking night long, zero problem, which is nice. It has a very nice anti-reflective coating on the screen. Screen, face, well, I guess there are screens underneath there, which is good. This is a watch that has a very dynamic face. What I mean by that is that this watch doesn't tend to photograph well. Usually the photographs are going to look something like this or something, where it's not really showing off well the various elements. It's not showing off the reflectivity, the fact that this is differently reflective than this guy is, that these little guys over here are reflective whereas the rest of it isn't. And that reflectivity is actually helpful. I'm going to shade this guy a little bit so it's dark. Right now you can see the lume, but note that if you just find any light in the room, you can very easily read the time just by any kind of reflection, even if it is distant. And that's a nice little thing. Even if the lume isn't fully charged, say it's been under your collar all day, there's a pretty good chance you can still read it, except in pitch dark. And like I said, even if it is pitch dark, see if I can do this. I need more hands than I've got at the moment. But even if it is pitch dark, come on. I'm trying very hard here. There we go. There is actually light up to that screen there, so you can read your alarm and chrono and whatnot in the middle of the night too, which is good, I suppose. One of the other things that is nice about this guy is the size. This guy is substantially smaller on every dimension than the Planet Ocean here. The Planet Ocean is thicker by a mile, even in the clasp department, in the bracelet, etc. This guy is lighter. The Planet Ocean came in around 7 ounces, as adjusted for my wrist. The Breitling here comes in at 3.25. That's a significant diet, which is very, very nice. And this guy, because it's a quartz watch, has a power reserve of about 4 years before you need to swap the battery out. And that's, well, that's pretty excellent. I mean, I can take this guy off my wrist for review and just come back to it, and it's still going to be accurate. Perpetual calendar, which is great. I mean, it's a beautiful freaking thing. So anyways, I have returned home to quartz, which is in some ways where I feel happiest about. Oh, the other thing, this is the retail price on this guy, which you probably shouldn't pay, is, I want to say, about $4,400. That's a lot of freaking money. Find an authorized distributor who's willing to help you out. Heck, find mine. Like I said, Lewis Jewelers, Ann Arbor. And to be fair, they did help me out in exchange for a plug here. But still, this is a much less expensive watch than this guy, even if it is still a really freaking expensive watch. Don't worry, I've got plenty more reviews coming of more budget-friendly pieces. But the thing is, I have a serious problem with timepieces. This is a thing. We are aware of this. And I just figured I would show off my latest acquisition and show off that quartz can indeed be both high-end and pretty excellent. So there you go. Hope this is interesting to you. Do not get into watches. But if you do, you should consider this little guy, because it's a very, very nice little piece. Anyways, hope this is interesting to you, and have yourselves a wonderful rest of your day, and I hope you had a good time today. Bye now.